Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. Okay, I finally have the next update in my No Pan Left Behind. Honestly, I feel like it's taken me, even though the day I'm filming this is the 12th, I feel like it has taken me so long to get through this current round that I'm on here. I guess because I don't know, I guess I lost motivation to do this, not necessarily because of any of the palettes I'm going to talk about, but because I feel like I've been trying other eyeshadow palettes this month, and I don't know, I just felt like because I was doing that, I wasn't really reaching for these. And then on top of that, I've mentioned a few times that I did hit a second pan in my favorite eyeshadow palette, and I think that's motivated me to use this palette a lot more than any other palette so I can continue to hit pan. I just have not been that motivated to complete this round, but this past weekend I finished the last two. Well, there was two columns in one of the palettes that I needed to complete. I went ahead, I did look like 1 and 2, completed that palette, I wiped it off, and then I completed the next palette, and that was the last one in the round because I was just desperate to move on to something else here. So I'm going to talk about these 5 eyeshadow palettes, and I'm going to be showing you all the looks, of course, while I'm talking about them, and then at the end we're going to pick 5 more palettes, or, well, we'll see how large the palettes are that they pick. It depends on the size. Some of them, if it picks some of these really larger eyeshadow palettes, then I might only do about 3, but we'll see. Okay, the first palette that I did is the Urban Decay Naked 2 Basics, which is, of course, this all matte, really more cool tone neutral eyeshadow palette. I like this palette, and it's right up my alley as far as being neutral, but I'm gonna be so honest, I did not enjoy the look I created with this. These shades are very, very powdery. I feel like to the point where they almost blend away into nothing. I don't know, I just felt like it was a lot of layering. A lot of the shades look very similar on the eyes because of that. I just didn't enjoy this palette as much as I thought that I had previously, and maybe at one point I did like this palette because it was soft, but now actually doing one whole look with it, with using all 6 of the shades, I'm just not impressed with it, and I think that I have way better neutral palettes in my collection, and even more so shades that look very similar to this in better palettes, so this is one that I am definitely going to be passing on. I mean, I love the idea of it, but I don't know. And even the powdery stuff, sometimes I can just overlook that and it doesn't bother me, but with this one, it bothered me because it's like you'd sit there and build and build and build and build the shades, and then you go to blend it, and then it's like it blended away and it just repeats. And I just didn't enjoy it. I have way more beautiful neutral palettes in my collection that are better quality, so this one's going. Okay, the next one here we have the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Moonlight palette. This is the one with the beautiful blues in it. Oh, this palette is so gorgeous. I love the looks I created with it. I believe I created 2 looks with this eyeshadow palette. So very beautiful. I enjoyed using this palette. This is an excellent palette. I believe this one is still available. I'm not sure, but I believe it was the last time I looked on Sephora, but it is such a gorgeous eyeshadow palette. And these Ethereal Eyes palettes in general, I do have the original one as well, and that's a gorgeous one too. I just enjoyed both looks. I was sad, really, when I completed the palette because I wanted to continue using it, but I also knew that I had like 3 more palettes after this to complete, so I did really enjoy using it. And the fact that I felt like kind of sad that I was already completed it, just that tells me enough. Like, I definitely want to keep it in my collection, whereas with the Urban Decay one that I just mentioned, I couldn't wait to get that look over with and done, you know, whereas with this one, I love the looks. I just think this is a beautiful palette. I love the original. I wish he would bring the original one back permanently because I just think these need to be permanent palettes. So really happy with this one, definitely staying in my collection. Okay, the next one we have is this one right here from Huda Beauty. This is the beautiful Rose Quartz eyeshadow palette. I believe I ended up doing 3 looks with this eyeshadow palette, but I'm only going to be showing you 2 of them, I think. I haven't looked back at my pictures because it's been a while since I've completed this one. This one was one of those that I knocked out kind of easily because I do love this eyeshadow palette. But one look that I created, you can find that in a video on my channel. It's where I did a collab with Makeup Lens here on YouTube. I did that video and we created kind of like a look with these more pinkier tones. So if you want to see that look, you can check that video out. But I believe I did 2 more looks. I want to say yes because it's been a while since I've completed this one. This was one of the first ones that I finished. So once I'm editing this back and I'm seeing my pictures, I don't know for sure, but I believe there are 2 pictures that I'm going to be showing you. But this is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. One of her most beautiful palettes in my opinion, especially if you love these types of tones. And yeah, definitely this one is staying in my collection for sure. Okay, the next one we have here is from Nomad. This is their Polar Express eyeshadow palette, and this is like their holiday palette that has some reds, some neutrals, and then like these blues and whites. Okay. This is a beautiful palette, and the formula is amazing. However, now I will say this, if you love these types of shades, and I mean specifically like the blues and then like these reds, because I know like this is neutral and then these types of shades like this are fairly neutral, and even the silvers and the white. I meant like this and then these two shades, then you'll probably really like this palette and then like the blues and stuff. This palette for me personally was a mistake. And I say that because I don't wear color. And when I do, I don't know if blue and red would be the colors I would go for anyway. There's nothing wrong with this palette. It is so beautiful, but this was a mistake for me. My first palette, and probably only palette that I should have from them, is the Ghost Town palette. And that's because, to me, that is the most neutral palette that they have. I mean, this bigger. I know they have those little mini travel palettes that look more neutral, but I meant they're like more larger, full-size palettes. The Ghost Town one is a neutral palette. That should be the only one I have in my collection from this brand. I don't want to get rid of it right now, but it might be one that I do eventually let go. The two looks you're seeing here, by the way, I know that I'm not wearing makeup, like full face. I didn't. I did this over the weekend. I just knocked this palette out on 1 and 2, and I mixed shades together in order to get this palette done in just those two looks because I wanted to be done with it. But I'm going to keep it for now, but it might be one that if I don't find myself reaching for it anytime soon, it's going to probably go. Okay, and the last one, of course, this one took me the longest. This is the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette, and one reason why it took me so long is because up until I got to these last two columns, I was only creating like one cohesive look. Now, 3 of the columns I ended up doing videos on. So you're only going to be seeing like maybe 2 pictures, I believe, because I did these 2 right here, like 1 and 2, on the same day I did the Nomad palette. So I'm still no face and makeup. I'm just doing these 2 rows right here. And then 3 rows, I know I did a video on like revisiting this eyeshadow palette. I did 3 looks, and then of course you're going to see one of the other rows. But this palette took me a while because of that, but as far as, this is one of my most favorite eyeshadow palettes in my collection. I think that if you are a neutral person and you kind of want one well-rounded neutral palette, this one is absolutely beautiful. So, of course, this one is staying in my collection. This one just took me a little longer to complete because instead of doing my usual 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I was creating like one whole look, and that takes me longer with these larger palettes, but I do enjoy this palette. I loved creating those looks, and it's interesting to see the last 2 columns actually have some of the deepest shades, and you see in the picture just how muted I made those shades because that's just my preference. It amazes me that I can dull down just about anything if I want to. But that's everything right there. Possibly 2 declutters this round. I'm torn on the Nomad palette. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up my random generator here, and we are going to be picking out the new eyeshadow palettes. I believe I've taken everybody out. I'm not sure, you know, but there might be some in here that I have already used, but if so, then we'll keep spinning. So, okay, the Wet n Wild Ice Cream Bee. I've already used that palette. That palette is over here in my spring palettes, and I have already used it, so that is one that I forgot to take out. So we are going to be taking that one out because I have already completed that one. So let's just keep spinning, and then I'll remember to remove it. Okay, the Kosas Undressed eyeshadow palette. So that is a 8 pan, but it's a very neutral palette. That one will be easy to take care of that one. Okay, the Urban Decay Moondust Space Rider. That will be a perfect palette to pair up with the Kosas one because the Kosas is all matte except for one shade, and the Moondust Space Rider palette is all shimmer. So I can pair those 2 up together and get those palettes knocked out at the same time. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick the next one. So these are smaller right now, which thank goodness. Okay, I don't have the Patrick Ta palette anymore. Okay, the Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette. The Makiage and Kathleen Lights palette. Alright, we're going to do one more. Okay, Lawless, the Dreamy Dozen. So the original, the Dreamy Dozen. Okay. So I have all of the palettes right here. So these are luckily a little bit smaller, like we don't have any 30 pan palettes. So let's first start out with this one. This is the Urban Decay Moondust Space Rider. So we just have these, the packaging looks like that with the pink. And then we have these 4 moondust eyeshadows here. So this is one that will be easily paired up with like the Kosas one or even the Lawless one, because there's a lot of mattes in these palettes. So this will be, oh, that is glitter, that is sparkle everywhere. It's all over the mirror. But these shades are very pretty, so this will be a very easy palette to get quickly done. So, okay, I'm happy to see that. Okay, the next one we have here is the Kosas Undressed eyeshadow palette. And see, this is a mostly matte except for this one shade right here. So this is a palette that I can easily pair that Urban Decay one up with. So I'm very happy that that one got picked with a lot of palettes that have these pretty mattes in it, because they will easily pair up together, create some really pretty looks. This is a stunning little palette. I think that if you want a very simple, easy, neutral eyeshadow palette, this one. I believe is still available on their website. It's no longer on like Sephora or anything, but I do really enjoy this palette. I think it's really cute. It's really simple. If you love the neutrals, if you love the soft, you'll love it. Okay, then next we have Lawless the Dreamy Dozen, which was the first of these palettes. I know they had a second one last year. Now this one is another that has all these beautiful mattes, and then we have these 3 shimmers over here. But there's a lot of mattes in this palette, so this is another one that if I want to create, well, honestly, even with the shimmers, I could still top those moondust over the top of these shimmers. I think that would still be a beautiful look. So this is another beautiful neutral color story. Yeah, actually, all of these are neutral palettes, so I am so thrilled about that. So yeah, this one would definitely be an easy one to get done as well, because I love the neutrals. And then we have the Makiage and Kathleen Lights. This palette, oh, it's very reflective, so let me go ahead and open it up. And then we have yet another beautiful neutral color story here, and you have like a little pop of color over here, but for the most part this is another neutral eyeshadow palette. The formula on this one is really stunning. This one will be an easy one to reach for and create some looks with, because, you know, of course I'm going to be all about the neutrals, so that's a good one for it to pick. And then we have the Huda Beauty Icy Nudes palette. I believe this was her last year's palette, right? Now this one's another, whoops. This is another one that reflects. Now this is an absolutely gorgeous eyeshadow palette. This is another one that is going to be super easy for me to use because of how beautiful it is. I love this round of palettes because they are all neutral, and I'm thrilled. They're going to be very easy for me to use. I'm going to want to actually reach for them because they're exactly what I love. So this round I'm excited. I'm hoping that I can get this round done a little bit quicker. At the rate I'm going with only using like 5 palettes like this in focus points, I probably won't be able to complete my entire collection for the year. But I've mentioned, I think in the very first video of this series, which I do have a playlist always linked in my description below for you in case you want to watch all of the updates and the original video. But I believe in the original one is where I said that whatever palettes I don't complete, I'm just going to roll it over to the next year and just continue, because this is a really great way for me to work through my collection and see what palettes that I really actually want to reach for, palettes I enjoyed, palettes I didn't enjoy so much, or maybe palettes that the formula's changed and they're not so good anymore. I mean, you know, so this is a good way for me to do this, and I'm really excited for this round because we have some really beautiful neutral palettes, and palettes which all 5 of them, yeah, all 5 of them I've enjoyed using in the past, so yeah, I'm excited for this round. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads, and follow me on Instagram at jessicadeerly. Whatever palettes are still available, I will try to link them for you below, and I'm not sure, I know 2 of them? 3 of them? I'm not sure. I don't know if any of these are still available actually, but if I can find them, then they will be listed and linked for you below, and they will be affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission, and if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!